All right, guys, let's recap the weekend in the world of the mixed martial arts. Bellator had a big show this weekend out in Connecticut, and I was a little more invested, I think, than some because I had some guys that I knew firsthand. Old teammate Tyrell Fortune taking on current teammate Rudy Safroth, Austin Vanderford out there fighting. He moved up a weight class to 185 pounds, and as you worked up the card, eventually, Amosov comes out. Amosov's just so good, by the way. I must say that. I'm a little hard on this guy because he's dull and doesn't add anything to the theater. And here we are in the entertainment era, but this guy is 22-0. And I'm not sure he's ever lost a round, at least not in front of me. This guy can do it all. Fantastic fighter. I hope you guys start paying attention and know who he is. But he's going to be one of those guys that's a slow build. He's just a slow build. Some of those guys are. They got to go win 20-some plus fights before you can put them on a major national television product. It's just the way that it goes. They don't have that other factor that brings people in and makes them want to see them fight. This guy's fantastic. I'm trying to compliment. I think I'm being a little hard on him, but okay, move along. Let's just go right to the main event. Because if there was ever a match that you had to redo, it was Sergei versus Mitrione. Back up for anybody that hasn't been paying attention, but these guys fought at the very end of last year. Is it mid-December? Out of the Mohegan Sun. 15-second fight. Mitrione walks across the ring, kicks Sergei right in the nuts. He kicked him so hard, where I sit at these things is probably halfway up the venue. If the cage is here and this is the roof, I'm about right here in the middle. I swear to you, I could hear the shot land. He kicked Sergei in the cup, and Sergei had on a plastic cup for reasons unknown, just accept the story, and it broke the cup. That's how hard Matt kicked him. You guys have probably seen Matt kick. Matt kicks so hard, and he kicks surprisingly hard inside. You've seen some very hard leg kicks come outside. From Anderson Silva, go all the way back to Marco Huas, current day Jose Aldo, but it's that outside leg kick. Matt Mitrione will throw it on the inside, so you can see the problem. Every now and then, if you're a few inches off, gonna hit a guy where you don't want to hit a guy. But at any rate, 15-second fight, Sergei never got up. Never. They carried him out on a stretcher from a groin shot. I mean, my goodness, they had to do a rematch. So they go out. It was a damn good fight. Quite frankly, it was a damn good fight. Sergei's one of these guys you don't want to be on your feet with. He's just a real experienced kickboxer, and he's got a whole bunch of power. And frankly, over the years, he's always been a heavyweight. He's getting bigger. He's weighing in at more and more and more, which means more and more and more power. Mitrione thought, well, no, I think that size is actually slowing him down. I think I can stay on my feet with him and do just fine. He was right. He was doing just fine. It was a good tussle back and forth. But the one thing with Sergei, when you're dealing with that kind of power, man, those guys only got to touch you once. So this fight wasn't without a little bit of drama, because as much as everything was going cool for Mitrione, he was having some kind of a mouthpiece problem. And I think a little bit more has been made of this mouthpiece than maybe due, but it was still the story of the fight. We're telling stories here, right? So Mitrione's got in like this red mouthpiece that I've never seen him wear a red mouthpiece. And it comes out. And Sergei hits it, and it comes out a second time. Comes out a third time. The ref finally says, look, there's no more of this thing coming out. It comes out again. I'm not stopping the fight. We don't have timeouts in MMA. By the way, what the hell's going with this mouthpiece? Why does it suck? Well, Mitrione finally told the story. It was frustrating him. He's having a hard time. He's trying to bite down. He was having to hold his jaw different. He's having to think about this mouthpiece. You could see this was a distraction. And boom, he gets clipped. Did one have to do with the other? Not making an excuse for him. I'm just telling you what happened. This is what I saw. And so Mitrione did tell the story after the fight, though. He goes, yeah, I left my mouthpiece. Now, for some of you, you won't be able to relate to this. A fitted mouthpiece, I'd be stunned if any of you have them. I mean, it's an extremely rare thing. Why would you have one? And to get a fitted mouthpiece is very hard. You can't just go to any dentist or any orthodontist. It has to be a special place that does these fitted mouthpieces. They cost you $80. They only make one at a time. You're begging, please send me 2, send me 3. I literally have in a safe at home, I have my passport, my wife's passport, and a mouthpiece. I am not kidding. I have an entire, if my house burns down, I'll have a mouthpiece. That's how hard they are to come by. So, what does Mitrione do? Well, he does all that he can do. He goes and basically gets a boil-in biter. I think he said he went to a dentist to get. It's not the same thing, guys. What a dentist would give you, some of those are to whiten your teeth. Some of the, I mean, I'm telling you, this is a specialty field. So he had some kind of a junk mouthpiece in. That's all I'm saying. It came out. That was the story of the fight. That was my weekend. I had a hell of a good time. I think that it does set up some storylines moving forward. Let me back up to Austin Vanderford. Undefeated, Mr. Van Zant. You guys may know him as Mr. Van Zant. But he moved up to 185 pounds. And I like him at that weight a lot. He is definitely strong enough for that weight. He would come in as a shorter fighter. If you guys remember when Johnny Hendrick moved up, one of my concerns for Johnny, in fighting, we're always talking about reach and we're always talking about weight. But a more relevant metric would be height. There are certain weight classes where you must be a certain height, or just statistically you run into problems. And Austin's right on that fence. That's the only thing that's concerned me about is his height. He's the height of a 170 pounder, but he's the muscle of a 205 pounder. Now he wants to settle at 185. I'm in. Well, the height's no longer a concern. Actually fought a taller guy with a better reach. He had no problem. He's getting inside, boom, boom, with his strikes. He was able to get him down. His ground and pound is nasty. He's one of these guys that doesn't get tired. He's really strong. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu that I suspect will become Fabiano Scherner's fastest guy ever to go from white to black. I suspect that Austin is going to have this record. He's going to have it pretty quickly. But it did set up storylines. Because now if he is at 185 pounds, I know he had his eye on Logan Storley. But Logan's staying at 170. I'm pretty sure of that. So I think now that you move him to 185, all of a sudden you got a guy that completely undefeated, marketable, could do a little of everything. You can't pretend he's not a contender forever.